are going for a whole hour. Straight dog talk and the song. Jump on in and speculate. Show up on time, don't be weak and late. We are community, so don't hate. And learn to cooperate.
Monday Bully Live, and we got a good one for you tonight. How do you know your dog has it? And it's not just your subjective eye saying, oh, yeah, he's got it because he's my dog, right? That'll lead you straight down to kennel blindness and to a lot of losses and a lot of finger pointing, if you will. But tonight, we got a special guest, all right? Not only do we have a special guest, she's also going to chime in to this particular topic. I'm talking about none other than Miss Jamie Sweet. A lot of you know her. Those of you that don't, you're about to get to know her, and you're going to find out. So without further ado, let me bring in, first of all, my dude, Money Mizike, the co-host with the most.
Yes, sir. How are you, brother?
Hey, man, I'm on cloud nine, Money Mike.
I know you are, brother.
This topic was inspired because how I'm feeling, and not just how I'm feeling. I'm going to keep it real with y'all. I'm going to explain to you how we got confirmation over this weekend that what I thought was actually is. But
I won't give anything away, but what I do want to say is before we even get it and anybody else beats me to it, congratulations, my brother.
Thank you.
So happy for you and your success. It was a wonderful weekend.
Absolutely.
And I'm also very excited about this guest. She is truly, we talked about people having years in this and all that. She's got truly a lifetime in this and is an inspirational legacy in this community. So I'm honored to be here with her tonight.
I am as well, Mike. I want to say this. I have brought a lot of guests into our live. Some guests, full well, after we started, sooner than later, the hot air that they were full of came out one way or another, right?
Right.
Because unfortunately, in this breeding world, there's a lot of people that they're just good at blowing hot air, right?
Right.
I can tell you with 100% assurance, this is not going to be the case.
That's right.
So for those of you that like to coat ride and ride other things that we know people do in this community, and you love the hot air to be hit with, this what happened? All of a sudden, okay.
Yeah, you're back. You're back now.
Obviously, something happened. But either way, we're bringing on Miss Jamie Sweet. Miss Jamie, how are you doing tonight?
Oh, I'm great. It's great to be here.
Thank you for joining us. Yes.
Yeah, sounds like it's been a good weekend.
Yes, it has been.
Okay.
Miss Jamie, I'm going to leave the floor to you because I want you to introduce yourself.
Okay.
Let us know what your contributions have been to the dog world and give us a little bit of insight. Okay.
Well, I've been involved in dogs my entire life. So, it's a second nature to me. And when people ask me, when'd you get your first dog? I was born into it. The first pictures that we have with me, I was 3 in the whelping box with my dad's bulldogs and holding up my pick, of course. I always had pick. And so, yeah, my dad bred a lot of dogs. And so I helped him. He was my biggest teacher, my biggest critic. He was everything, my biggest challenge and my biggest fan. And it was always fun, over the years to have, and uncles and aunts and, our family was involved in dogs. And so, it was just very natural for me. So when we got married, when I graduated from school, got married in 1985, that's when I started Blue River. And so I had English Bulldogs always. There's a lot of misconceptions about English Bulldogs, and I was the one to you know, prove that that wasn't true with all of them. You know, I was a big prover of that because I had many amazing English bulldogs that could do a lot of things. And so even though they could do a lot of things, they couldn't do everything that I wanted. And yeah,
tell me one or two things that either there was a misconception or one or two things they couldn't do.
Okay. A lot of people think all English bulldogs are slugs and they can't run or move, or, you know, they can't swim, or okay, we had them. If you look through my Facebook, you can see many pictures of it. We had several that could do agility, that could swim, that could you know, we worked with the decoy with them in bite work. They could do all those things. You know, they couldn't do it. No, I'm not gonna say they could do it for, you know, the same length of time as working dogs. They're definitely not a working dog, but you know, when you hear something about a breed, just know that, you know, most of them, you know, should do this, but there's always going to be in the breeds, there's always going to be ones that are different, just like people, you know?
Yes.
Just like people. Yeah. And so it's, when you're breeding dogs, you know, it's not just the breed, it's the individual specimen that you get a hold of. That's important, you know? And so I had a certain thing that I looked for with my bulldogs, and we can talk about that later, but, you know, I wanted an American bulldog. I'd had some Rottweilers before that. Wanted an American bulldog, and so then that's where I started, you know, deep in the bulldogs. And we did that for several years with several dogs. You know, we never just do 2 or 3 dogs. We always did, you know, a lot of dogs because we had a nice place to do it, you know, out in the country on the farm, and
yeah,
you know, and we enjoyed it so much. And so we did American bulldogs, and then one day I saw an oldie. I didn't quite know what it was.
That's where I started.
Well,
That's
Jamie,
where I
tell
started.
the story, because I've heard it. I heard it from somebody else about, like, weren't you driving in a car and passed it on the road and then stopped and turned around?
Yeah, like about threw the transmission out of the car, and I was like, "Oh my God, you see that? We got to go back," you know, and whip the car around, and you know, it was so long ago that it was really, you could do that. It was safe. And I go up, I knock on the door, and I'm so excited, you know, looking at this dog, and you know, I told the guy that answered the door. Of course, he was happy to show me his dog, you know, and I was just blown away by this dog. And, you know, I stood there and we talked for about an hour, and I looked the dog over and everything. And then I had to get me an oldie, you know, because that was it. That everything I wanted. It was kind of like an English. It was kind of like an American, but it was like the best of both worlds.
It's actually where Raul started.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
A lot of people don't know that about Raul, but that was where
you're an oldie guy. Okay.
Yeah.
No. Actually, I went in, and just as I went in, I came back out. I realized I wasn't an old.
Oh,
so,
man. Yeah.
Nothing against the breed. It was just my you know, just didn't fit into my box.
What did you think going in that didn't happen, or was it different, or, you know? Well, or was it even not like that, or was it not like that maybe?
Well, I didn't know much about breeding at the time. I can tell you oldies, their coys compared, say, to the American Bully are way up there because they've been around a lot longer. Yeah. And the dogs I got were actually inbred. And even though inbreeding, when it's done correctly, you can get some very positive results from that. Yeah. That wasn't what I got. What I got was a dog who, actually, I had 2 females whose allergies were unreal. So
yeah, that's not good.
My channel's really known for us, not just, I mean, we talk about dogs, we keep everything real, but I also make a lot of videos about how to cure certain things, because I'm also a nurse, and a lot of it translates over. The only thing that changes a lot of times is dosages. But I started applying most of my nursing knowledge into trying to put out these allergy fires that I had those 2 original old English bulldogs. So that's where I started. Got, you know, dipped my toe in the water and dipped it right back out.
Yeah, that's okay.
Where did you go from the oldie? You bred those for a few years, Jamie, and then what?
Well, for the oldie, you know, so I wanted to do everything right, you know, so called a couple registries. I said, hey, you know, I've seen the oldies, really like the oldies. I've got my own Americans that I love here. They're nice. Got my English Bulldogs that they're nice. Think the combo would be great. And, you know, so I just was up front. I said, hey, do you let people do that? Could I do that? You know, showed them my dogs, all that, went through the process. They said, yeah, give it a shot. So I did. And I got really good results. And, you know, in the oldies, I learned so much about breeding. And literally, it felt like everything I touched turned to gold almost. It was wonderful. And I love the dogs, but I was getting older, you know, as I did that. And so when I had the Americans and the oldies and the English, and, you know, it's just too many dogs to, you know, be good at promoting all the breeds, and then you're mixing and people think you're, you know, mixing everything, whatever. So I said, okay, the Americans, you know, there's so much dog for me now, you know. I mean, they hit you in the knee, you're like, oh my God, I'm gonna be laid up for a week, you know, because our Americans were very powerful and they were aggressive dogs. And you know, it took a lot, you know. And we lived on the farm, and you know, if they got after a horse or something, it was it was a big deal. So I said, okay, I'm too old for those. I'm going to focus on my oldies and stuff. And I did that for a long time. I did a lot of F1 breedings, and yeah, I learned a lot. But anyway, then the oldies, you know, they were awful big too. And so I got hit in the knee. I just don't like to get hit in the knee or, you know, knocked down or whatever. Anyway, it pulled my calf muscles real bad, and it pissed me off. And I said, you know what? I'm making something smaller that I like. This for me. I'm just going to make it for me. And, you know, it's going to be something I can handle, you know, because these big dogs, I couldn't lift them anymore. And, you know, our oldies were big. And so that's what took me to the shorties, you know, and I just wanted to see if I could do it. I mean, I didn't start out saying, I'm going to make $1 million. This is going to be the hot new thing. It wasn't like that at all. I was just trying to, I love mixing dogs to see what I can get.
Right there.
Because I think that the way you see dogs, you either see dogs in parts and you can take them apart.
Yeah.
Like the expression of a dog. You know, a lot of people be like, oh, I just don't like his face. Like, well, what don't you like about it? I don't know. He's just ugly. Okay, well, what's ugly? I don't know. Just don't like it. But there are things you don't like. When things are out of place a certain way, you may not be able to put your finger on it, some people. But they know they don't like it. But then when you teach them, okay, well, what if the eyes were down a little bit, you know? Well, then they don't unsee that, you know? And so then they have really learned something that's going to help them in their breeding program, because now they can see something that they couldn't see until you explained it in a way they could understand it.
Bingo.
Mm-hmm.
Bingo. For those of you watching, I want you to listen to Jamie. I want you to hear how she's talking and how she's bringing up arguments that led her to her actions. This is a real breeder talking to you. This is not somebody blowing that smoke.
No, man.
Keep listening very close, because I can tell you right now, I'm listening as avidly as y'all should be listening. Okay,
too.
because this is coming from somebody that's got more experience than me multiplied by 5.
So you had a vision of what you thought this dog you envisioned would look like, and you started building it.
Yeah, because I'm a bulldog lover. I mean, I love bulldogs, but I don't like them to be impaired, you know, but I really like the look of bulldogs, and that's what I was always raised around. So, I mean, even my dad's rat terriers, you know, I bred them to a bulldog one time, see how that'd work, because I'd like them if they were bullier. Well, let me tell you what I learned from that, and this is a great way to learn faults and virtues. And I just want to say this, too, before we go any farther. I don't know everything by any means, because I get to talking and I sound like I do know everything, but what I'm telling you, I learned. And it is a fact from what I learned. So, I mean, just take it from there. But I didn't make up the faults and virtues thing either. Those are not my words. Those are words I got from guys older than me. But a virtuous trait, you guys know what that is. It's something great about the dog that it does. It's something that has, you know, it has a great rear end. That's a virtue. It has a beautiful chest. That's a virtue. It, you know, it's a gait, the way it moves around, virtue. And then we see the faults, like, you know, there's all different types of faults in a dog. There's major, there's minor. There's some that are hard to fix, some that are easy to fix. So when you're breeding dogs, you're calculating that all the time in your head. If your dog doesn't have any virtuous features, you know, that one may have to go down the road as a pet. It's probably not worth, you know, if it has faults and no virtuous features, that's not good. If it has virtuous features and a fault, then you decide if you want to fix that because the virtue's so good. And then you get into the juggle of, can I fix this and not lose this over here? That's a juggle that we're always talking about. Yeah. And even when you have a dog that's just great in every way, it's still not perfect. You know, great dogs don't always make great dogs, even when they're bred to great dogs. It's a whole lot of good dogs, then you get a great here and there, and, you know, and that's just how it is. So you can't really get it perfected ever 100%, but you can get really close. So when you hear somebody say, oh, no dogs, you know, all dogs have a fault. Okay, I suppose they do. But let me tell you, there's a whole lot of dogs that are pretty close to perfect. Pretty close, okay? And so that's what you ought to be shooting for. That's what you got to shoot for. You know, don't settle for half good. Don't settle for that. Now, it may take you a long time. It's going to take you a long time if you do it right. But it's going to be a shorter time with all the tools that you have today, you know, because you don't have to do the, you know, you don't have to do the test all the way. It's like a cheat code to the answers. I'd love to see. I wish I could go back in time and do it with, you know,
I'm sorry to interrupt you. You're referring to genetic testing, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. You know, just to test it, wouldn't it be nice if you could just see what you did, know what you did, and then redo it again and see if the results were close? That would be wonderful.
Yeah, I'd love to see that. I would.
You know,
so,
because
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, as a breeder, and you know, when you have an idea like Shorty Bulls, you know, well, you have to. It's a lot of dogs. It's a lot of litters because you have to give yourself those options, and you're building at the same time.
So what all dogs are in the makeup of the Shorty Bull?
Well, there's
what
three
all dogs did you put together to make it?
There's 3 breeds, and to truly make another breed of dog, it has to be 3 breeds or more. Okay, so you can't just be like a doodle, which is a poodle and whatever. That's a crossbred dog. So to be a breed, it has to be 3 or more. So my base is the English Bulldog. That's my heart dog right there. And the Staffordshire Bull Terrier had Staffordshire Bull Terriers, and there was things I loved about them. And there's things I didn't like about them. And so what I tried to do was pick the traits from each breed and put them together. That was what I did. And then the French Bulldog. So those are my 3 breeds. But
in there, okay.
But my English Bulldogs were, I mean, they were different. You know, they were not all overdone, saggy. You know, no roll over the nose. You know, but they were still typey, you know, and that made all the difference.
You have more of a functional. You aim for a more functional English Bulldog, essentially,
which I love.
A functional English Bulldog, but it still looks like a Bulldog. It doesn't mean it doesn't look like a Bulldog. It doesn't mean it's
right. It keeps the type, but it has more functionality, and it's not overdone where the wrinkles are.
Look at that dog right there. Golly.
Yeah, like, you know, there's boundaries we can go to when we breed these things. And, you know, more is not always good, you know. It just, when it impairs them, it's not good anymore, you know.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can see that, you know, we played hard with our dogs. We really do. Because they're Bulldogs, they like to do all that roughhousing stuff. And, you know, we had to do that with them, or else, you know, they're gonna find something else to do that's, you know, probably in the kennel, you know, like chew on the side of the barn or something. And so we wanted to keep our dogs, you know, we always did a lot of, you know, activity. We're always hiking, you know, my family's active like that. And so we want dogs to keep up with us.
Well, let me ask you something, Jamie. How many years did you juggle around those breeds, mixing dogs, before you felt like okay, this
Yeah.
is a shorty bull. This is what I envisioned.
Well, listen, I did oldies for so long and I made my mistakes there. So by the time I got to shorties, man, it didn't take as long as you think. But it's only because I had all those years before me, that I'd already done.
Correct.
Yeah, to get here. But, when you cross a bulldog with a terrier type dog, I mean, if you don't know, the terrier always prevails. Always. God made the terrier. We made the English bulldog. Yeah, that's pretty much.
The terrier is really sticky blood, sticky genes.
Man, it's strong. And the English bulldog's been around a long time too, but they're so different. And so I wanted to see, man, can I get the definition of that Pitbull's muscle? Can I put that on the bunchy muscle of an English bulldog? I tried that, don't work, and I tried a lot of things. So by the time I got to shorties, I already kind of had an idea what was going to work and what wasn't going to work. And so it didn't take long. And, the first one.
When you say it didn't take long, give us a time frame.
Oh, like 3 years.
Well, okay. So 1.5 generations, basically.
Well, yeah, I guess kind of, but I built my own outcross line same time I started this stuff. And so, I had a lot of dogs, like,
Sure.
I had 30, 40 dogs to start with, which sounds like a shit ton, but really,
right.
If I started to make a breed today, I would definitely start with more. Of course, every time you do it, you're going to get better the next time. So, I would start with a lot more dogs, and if one guy's making the decisions that knows what he's doing, you'll get far fast,
Right.
But yeah,
but with enough dogs. So I just want to say that I've looked at a lot of shorty bulls, but yours are different.
Thanks. Yeah, they are. They should be. I mean, it was my brainchild. It was my, big idea. I was the one that, it was my baby. It's always going to be my baby. So, yeah. And you can't find it.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Would you say that in the making of a breed,
one of them anyway?
Would you say that in the making of the breed, the most important thing a breeder has to have is the ability to see what it is that they want and be able to see it in another dog, even if it's fragmented? Would you say?
You got to see that. I say this. First, you got to know what you want. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You got to know, you can't switch your mind all the time. So get solid on what you want to make, maybe it's impossible, but even if it is, you'll learn that in the process. Get, know which way you want to go. And then the second thing is you got to look at your stock and know what you have. And you got to be honest there, and if you don't have any experience, you're going to have to try some things. You're just going to have to try. And we all learn at different rates. And
let me ask you on that, because you hit on something that goes along with tonight's topic, right? We have a lot of breeders out here that are kennel blind. We have some big breeders that co-own so much that, they may co-own, just an example, 100 females out there, and they have a stud that they're going to breed to those 100 females. And
that won't get done. That won't get done. I'll tell you, that won't get done. Somebody's going to change your mind ahead of time.
Then they're going to show you 3 or 4 dogs that are simply amazing, and a bunch of sheep clapping behind that. What they don't realize is that if that dog bred to 100 females, at least for me, I'm expecting 20% of your litters to be drop dead gorgeous. If you know,
I would hope so.
If you know what the hell you're doing.
Yeah.
So if you had 100 females and they had 6 pups, that's 600 pups. 20% of 600. Let's do the math. You should be showing me 120 pups that are drop dead gorgeous, not 3 or 4, right?
Well, if it's 3 or 4, that's not good.
But that's the standard in today's hype world of social media. I'm going to dangle these 3 or 4 in front of you because truly, I'm a lottery winner. I really don't know what the hell I'm doing.
It's
but I'm maximizing the numbers. Right? So that's why I'm able to dangle 3 or 4 in front of you. But those of us that are breeders and we know the numbers, if you're out here beating
Mhm.
your chest that your dog has been studied 100 times, you need to show me 120 pups running around that are looking similar to that dog. That's just the bottom
Well,
line.
looking similar, and they better have a lot of stuff better than the daddy if they're doing this
Exactly.
right. You know?
Exactly. Yeah. Too
Yeah.
many times the word he's out producing himself is being thrown out there, and there really is no substance. If your
Mhm.
dog is out producing itself, I'm looking at you in the camera. All right. If you're out here beating your chest that your dog is out producing, I'm not saying he is or he isn't. What I'm saying is 20% of whatever he's producing, you need to be throwing it out there. Don't dangle me 2 or 3 of his greatest productions.
Mhm.
A street dog can produce 2 or 3 amazing pups out of 100 breedings, right?
Man.
Yeah. To chime in on what both of y'all are saying, you know, I think one of the things that I think is so important is that a program move significantly forward with each breeding, at least some anyway, should be moving in a forward motion, especially once you get
Yeah.
your sea legs.
Yeah, you should really. I mean, you
Yeah.
know, it doesn't always, and we always hit a few snags, but you know, if you're really serious about this and you're fascinated, then you're motivated enough to learn some stuff, and you will learn every time you have
Right.
puppies. But yeah, you should see progression. If you're not, just quit and figure
Yeah, I
out
mean,
where you're going wrong.
you have breedings where you don't hit and breedings that you do,
Mhm.
but like over the course of generations of your program, you should be moving in the
Yeah,
direction you're trying to head.
you should. You should.
Yes.
It's not, you know, it's not a complete game of chance, and it's really not that difficult to look at dogs and see what's there. It's not that hard. It's really not. You know.
It's either there or it's not. You got to think in black and white terms
Mhm.
100%.
and put the gray areas out.
Yeah.
Look, I'm changing. I'm even changing my vocabulary. From here on out, I'm gonna do my darnest. I don't want to be saying, "Oh, she or he has a slight high rear." No, 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 no. It's
What do
either
you
high
think?
or it's not. Bottom
Mhm.
line. Oh, slight east-west. No, no, no. You're either
Yeah. Yeah.
east-west or you're not. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, a slight under. No, no, no. You either got an underbite or you don't.
You
Right?
know, when you write standards, you state what the dog is. Okay, perfect. If it varies from that, that's not it.
That's
Okay,
not it.
it's
That's it.
wrong. It's wrong. I don't care if it's a slight rise or a ski slope or whatever you want to call it. And people are going to have to start knowing that and swallowing that and doing better. I mean, we're
Yes,
not going to get
agree.
better if
Yes.
we don't.
Now, to be fair,
Mhm.
if you're starting your program and say you have a female with a slight underbite, which we're not calling that anymore, we're calling it an underbite. But
Mhm.
in your eyes, it's 1 millimeters to 2 millimeters. In your next generation, you now have scissor bite. You now are able to clearly see that you have improved black to
Mhm. Mhm.
white or white to black.
Mhm.
There's no gray area in between. Your offspring or the pups you should be keeping should not continue to have an underbite as much as your mom did. If you're still keeping that pup, okay, you better have a damn good reason. Maybe mom had needed better angulation in the rear and you got it with this pup. Maybe mom had a high rear. This one has no high rear and no east-west and everything else. Okay. But if this pup has the same high rear mom has and the same underbite, but she looks great, the color is amazing, you're just fooling yourself. You're
Right.
literally spinning your wheels in the same place.
Yes. And once you get away, you know, like, are you breeding to fix something? Yeah, you can. You can fix some stuff, but once you get away from it, you have to stay away from it.
Correct.
You have to. You can't breed, get away from it, and then go right back like, oh, I got her fixed. No, I mean, okay, you might have got some things fixed, but then you have to keep it fixed, for some generations.
You hit on something amazing. So this past weekend, Jaira, a good friend of mine, showed me a dog that had been photoshopped. When I mean photoshopped, I'm talking about you can't tell in the picture that the breeder's putting out there, but when you put it side by side with the dog in the ring, right? When the dog goes in the ring,
wow.
you know, Mike here could take a picture. I can take a picture. Jamie down there, Kyle in the back could take a picture. No one has control as to what you're going to see, because now we are all objectively taking our pictures and comparing to what you said in the banner that the dog was like. This is really important because there's a lot of new breeders out there that are going to be watching us. And when they come into the breed, they're looking for names as if though we were in a department store. Oh, we need to have Victoria's Secret underwear if we're going to have a female. And, you know, we got to have Gucci and Bugatti and this and that. And that's not how this game is played. I've sat here forever and spoken about it. Okay. So the reason I'm bringing this up is because, make no mistake about it, there's a lot of dogs out there that are photoshopped. I'm going to give y'all an excellent recommendation so you don't run into kennel blindness. Make sure whatever dog it is that you're trying to get, right, especially when you're new, make sure you're able to see dad in an objective light. Meaning, if dad goes into a dog show, tune into somebody's live and try to see that dog for yourself. Don't go off of a banner, because a banner is nothing more than what the breeder wants you to see. Bottom line, keeping it 100% real with you. And this particular dog, and I'm not going to throw him out there or anything like that, but I can tell you this dog, in my opinion, does not even meet the qualifications of a pet quality dog. That's how horrific of a true, you know, real view picture I got from this dog compared to the banner. Okay. Stiff stifles is an upgrade. All right. So I'm just keeping it real with you guys, and, you know, trying to center around
That
the
is
topic.
true. There's a lot of dogs like that.
Yeah. You know, go into the ring, and if you can't, make sure somebody's doing a live and watch it objectively. And then if that dog has what you think it has, then you can. So what gray area means subjective, black and white means objective. Learn how to be objective, especially in your own yard. Jamie alluded to it, and you guys know I've sat here and spoken to it. There is no worse critic than I am of my own dogs. Right. Before you say my dog has a slight east-west, I'm going to correct you and tell you, no, bro, that's a full-blown east-west, and I need to get it corrected. And until you hunker down to that, you're truly not going to improve. Okay. Right. Me telling Mike, oh, he only has a slight east-west, Mike. Mike's over here thinking, oh, okay. I got an 8 out of 10. I'm good to go.
There we go.
Mike goes out there talking like, you know, he's got an 8 out of 10. And then someone like Jamie, who knows what the hell's going on, is going to break his little heart and let him know it's a 3 out of 10. Did I really help him out? No, I just totally screwed him up.
When you're new, there's a lot of things you just don't know. Yeah.
We were talking about this earlier today. I got to chat with her for a minute, and we just got to talking dogs like dog people do, right? And I think so often, more often than not, people haven't done their research. And like we've said on here forever, if somebody were to ask me what to do first, do your research. Yeah. So that you know when you're being hoodwinked, you know when you're being taken on a ride, you know when somebody is blowing smoke, and because if you don't, you're going to spend a bunch of money thinking you have something you don't have, and it's going to be a lot later before you realize that you're in the hole and you're in the red, and you got a long way to go, and you're going to want to use these dogs that ain't what you thought they were because you're already invested, but you really need to start over now because you finally got your blinders off. But
Yeah, a lot of people don't want to start over, you know, but man, sometimes starting over is the best thing you can do. It's just the best thing you can do. And you know, there's going to be a lot of things when you're new. You think you don't need to know these things. Listen, you don't have to name every bone in a dog's body and what bone it's connected to, but there are parts that you need to know. And you need to know how they are supposed to properly be, you know, to have good structure.
To function, right.
And function. Because over time, you know, when they're not put together right, then that affects the soundness of the dog. You know, it gets arthritis, whatever. But if you don't know those things, you know, you don't need to go out and buy the book An Eye for a Dog, because that might screw you up worse than it'll ever help you, because that's kind of a next level book. But I don't know if it's the title that catches people or what, but a lot of people go right out and buy that book, and man, they're more confused than when they started. So just save that for, you know, that's a graduate school book kind of. But get with somebody who will take the time to teach you the basics. And you need to throw ideas back and forth, because you're not going to understand. You know, like, how many of you know what sickle hawks are? You're going to hear that and you're going to be like, what are sickle hawks? You know, have somebody you can call and they can explain it so you can get it, so you can understand it, you know? That will get you down the road. You do that in an embark, man. Look out. Look out.
That's right. You know, Jamie, I want to share with you and Mike and our viewers a story, real life story that's happened to me. And that's why Mike was congratulating me earlier on, right? Before I do, however, Kyle, my dude, NuVet Kennel, went ahead and he gifted one QBN Kennel membership. So let me hear it.
Pues claro que sí, cabrón.
Claro que sí, cabrón. And the other thing I'm going to let you guys know is I'm going to tell you my story. Before that, however, I got to let you know, Nuvet NuJoint DS, multivitamin and joint support. You can go to nuvet.com/513237. Keep in mind, if you do auto ship, you're going to get an additional, listen up, between 13 and 15% off every month that you continue to have auto ship. You're going to continue to receive this. So let me give you guys a little bit of insight on my story. And some of you already know a lot about this story. So it turns out, and Jamie said that sometimes starting over is the best thing you can do. Y'all know that I have been an American Bully XL breeder because I like the XL class. You guys also know that I got to a point where I thought and I figured, just like Jamie saying that terrier blood is sticky, so too is Mastiff blood, especially in the XL class, right? So a lot of high rear, you know, super long back legs, whether it's down pasterns, weak pasterns, weak chest, so on and so forth. So I decided to pivot. Let's call it 2 years ago, and I'm rounding. I decided to pivot 2 years ago, and you guys know very well. I brought in the likes of this girl right here, Sunshine, right? Champion Sunshine, who became a champion at 6 months and 17 days. Shout out to Devin for showing her and championing her out at the time. Nothing but love. But that wasn't the only dog I brought here, right? Y'all already know where I'm going. I brought another dog here, many other dogs. I brought my girl. I also brought a little guy right here, little old Blueberry, right? Little old Blueberry. The minute I saw Blueberry, when it was time for me to buy him, he was presented to me as the last pick male available, right? I had no choice. I did ask for the pictures of the other males and also the other females, because I bought Blueberry and the last pick female, his sister. I'm not going to lie to you guys. The minute I saw Blueberry as a pup, I felt inside of me that everything I knew about breeding told me this dude had it. Okay. Now, everything inside of me telling me that this has it is not objective. It's completely subjective because it's coming through my eyes. It's not being validated by anybody else. Just keeping it real with you guys, right? So, long story short, I was so sure, right? Subjectively, so sure that he was it. You guys know very well that when he was 6 months old, I made a song. And Jamie, I hope you could appreciate the song. It does have curse words, but it's the baddest, sexiest curse words you're ever going to hear. I want you to hear this little song right here.
Like blue eyes in a sea of blue.
Yeah.
I can't stop thinking
Thinking
about
about
you.
you.
The way you walk, the way you stand, the way
The way you do you.
blueberry
Blueberry.
motherfucker, you. That's right.
So I put it out
Awesome.
there. Listen, I put it out there. Subjectively, I felt
You did.
that dude had it. I put it out there. Well, I'm going to tell you guys, this little guy went in the ring for the first time as an adult. All right, this weekend. He's 18 months old. 18 months old. And I'm going to tell you where I got validation that this dude is who I think he is. And hopefully he can definitely prove me wrong. By the way, this is Blueberry now. Y'all well aware. Okay. And this was Blueberry this weekend. Real quick, 10-second clip. All right. So it was just a quick little clip of who Blueberry is today. Now, I'm going to tell you where I got my validation. Did not get my validation from me. Getting validation from me, from my wife, from my daughter, from my friends, from my fans, that's not validation because that is subjective. They're on my side. Where I got validation is this little guy went in the ring, and out of four times he went in the ring, he got 2 first places and he got 2 second places. First time he went in the ring, he was nervous, and you can see it, and he's still in place, which validated me that he's got the goods. It could have been judge preference. It just could have been that he was too nervous, kept his head down. However, we let the day play out. He got 2 1s, and then he got 2 reserve males. Here's where my real validation came in. Once he got first place and he went up against a 3-year-old male. So that 3-year-old is either 36 months or more, right? 3 to 4. He's 18 months. Blueberry still hasn't popped. Not only that, he was being handled by one of the best handlers out there. So that gave me validation in that, you know what? This dude, he's got the goods. He's got the goods. Outside of that, everything else was nothing more than subjectivity. It's hot air. Hot air. I felt it. I knew it was there. Okay, I called it. I can call it now 100%, but the validation didn't happen until this past weekend, right? So that's my story with my boy Blueberry.
That's a pretty good one. That's good.
I got to watch him live this weekend.
Mhm.
And, I seen where there was a moment where in the very beginning where he was a little nervous, and
Yes.
and Angel had a great relationship with him already and was able to get his attention back on the
That's
task
cool.
at hand and pulled him right back around the ring, and like he snapped him right out of it. And we both seen it in real time, like, yeah, they got a thing where they
That's
they
good.
relate to each other well, because the dog tried to clam up and then Angel pulled him right out of it. He came right on
That's a
around and
good
gave it.
handler. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mike,
and
Mike, let me stop you because I did not give him his props. Shout out to Angel Severo, B Unit. I'm letting you know right now, this dude is a bad blueberry blues. You already know the word I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
I'm just letting you know. Mike and I, when we spoke about the first time Blueberry went out there, he kept his head down, and at one point he froze and stopped.
Mm-hmm.
Angel gave him nothing but support and love. Next time he comes out, this dude is a different dog. Next time he comes out, you could just see it. It's almost like the first time a child is able to ride a bike without trainers. You know, first time is 10 feet, second time is 20 feet, and you just see the confidence and everything flowing. So, Angel, bro, nothing but love for you, man. Nothing but love.
I got to add one little thing in here. So if there's listeners out there and they want to do this thing, it's super important that you get, if you're going to get a handler, if you don't know exactly quite what you're doing and stuff, you know, get a handler, but you get a good one and get one like that, because it's twice the work to retrain a dog than it is to just do it right the first time and do it well the first time. You know, like you might have been a little nervous. By the time it's over, the dog's happy, you're happy, everybody's happy. That's a good thing. That's $1 million stuff there.
Yes.
You know, that's good. That was A+.
Yes, it was. And let me tell you, Jamie, I was nervous, but at the same time, I was confident. Almost like I played football in high school and in college. We knew a lot of times when we were going to beat the shit out of the other team. You just do it. But you're still a little bit nervous because, you know, you can throw the ball, anything can happen. I kind of felt that way with Blueberry. And the fact that, you know, with Angel at hand, it came through the way it did. Now it's objectively confirmed, completely out of my hands. From this point on, you know, I'm very confident. And again, this is objective, but I'm very confident this boy is not only going to champ out, at some point, he's going to grand champ out. It's just going to be a matter of time. That's just how I feel. So
and that's a good feeling, man. And that's what, I mean, nobody goes to the ring to lose, you know.
Correct.
We want that feeling. It's an awesome feeling, you know.
Yeah, there were some good looking dogs in the ring that day. I think one of the things, you know, when you get into kennel blindness and getting confirmation on what you have and don't have, and knowing that the dog is it and all that, like you said, bro, is competition, right? So
yes,
there was, you know, 13 plus dogs in every show of the 4 shows
good point.
in the class, and some good looking dogs. So to even place amongst that many peers at 18 months old, especially in the pocket class, it was really nice, man, to see. It's good to determine where you're at with that much competition.
Oh yeah, it's very good. You know, when you're in the ring, your dog's judged, you know, up next to the standard. But when you're outside the ring, man, that is your time to see where you stack up with your peers. And it's very important that everybody do that. You know, it's so important. You don't have to show when you go to shows, you know, but man, you got to go to some. You have to.
Yeah.
You have to stack up and stand by. I don't mean stack up like stack up, but I mean walk through, you know, stand together, see what's alike, what's different, what you do like, what you don't like, you know. And just think of it as networking and options, you know.
You're absolutely right.
Every program needs options at some point, you know.
If I had $1 for every time I heard, this dog looks so different in person.
Oh my gosh, that's so true. Yeah.
They all do. 90% of them do.
The camera, it's just like trying to take a picture of a mountainscape from your cell phone. And then you take the picture and it looks flat. And you try to show it to somebody, you're like, wait, but it looks so much better than this, right? It's the same with the dogs. You get a little better in a video than a picture, but it's not the same. When you go and lay eyes on the competition in the community, go to said event and look around at all the different breeds in the competition, you get like we said earlier, it's a way to really truly get calibrated on what's going on.
Yeah, calibrated. That's the word. That's a great word.
Let me say this. It goes both ways. I've seen dogs that look so much better in person than they could ever on video or picture. I've also seen dogs where when you see them in person, it's like, what you doing something, bud? Because the dog don't look nothing like what that banner shows.
That happens
You know
too.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
For sure.
I mean, just keeping it real.
Yeah. And some dogs you can't get a picture of that does them justice to save your life, man. I know that sounds crazy.
No, it
It's
doesn't. Some
not-
dogs are not
I agree.
photogenic.
Not photogenic at all. Oh, such a
Wow.
bummer. But, you know, it's always good when people see them then because they're always blown away.
Tell me
You
about
know?
it. I have a female off of Grand Champion 7. Her name is Tisha. I think she looks amazing.
Mhm.
She can't see a camera. She walks towards a camera, whether it's a phone, whether it's a real camera, it don't matter.
Oh,
The minute you
man.
put the camera out, this girl just walks towards you.
Yeah.
And it's just one of many things. And like Dave said as well, there's some dogs that are just not photogenic. And then
Yeah.
you show up and then you're like
Mhm.
blown to pieces by the dog the minute you see them.
Yeah.
Real quick. Kyle, Sykes Pups, OEB, nothing but love, Sykes.
Yeah.
Claro que sí, cabrón.
Cole House,
Okay,
that's my
see,
guy,
cabrón.
Oh, my God, man.
Every Monday at 8 PCST, we're going live, bro, and we're going to answer all member questions. You now got that little symbol by your name. So if you got a question, we're going to be answering. Talking about questions, let's start jumping into them real quick. And Sarata's asking, how early in pups would you see things like an underbite? My one female didn't show an underbite until a year old. What would you like to say about that, Miss Jamie?
Well, I will tell you this, you know, the bites do change. In the dogs I've had, the shorty bull bites change a lot because their head grows, you know, differently. Like at 5 months, the bottom jaw grows out, so they're more undershot. 10 months, the head starts to grow forward. And so the bite, you know, comes together a little more. But usually, you know, you can kind of tell when they're little pups, you know, what kind of a bite they're going to have. I mean, it's not going to change drastically, really. You know, not going to have a big undershot jaw that's going to all of a sudden be overshot.
There's exceptions to everything, but
there
generally
are.
speaking, you can usually get a pretty
You
good
can see it. Yeah.
Yeah. One thing I will recommend if you do have a dog, and again, there's no such thing as a slight underbite, but let's say it's a 1 to 2 millimeter
Sure.
underbite. You might not want to put them on a spring pole where they're using their jaws or they're hanging or anything to that effect. Just because, well, my bad. There you go. I'll bring it right back. Just because what you're going to do is you may be actually working the muscles where it stops triggering to the body to stop growing either the head forward, or you could actually trigger it to grow the underjaw even more. So just saying, things like that, you want to keep at bay if you have a dog that's got an underbite, so that you don't mistakenly worsen it, is what I'm trying to get at. Frady Estrevia is saying, whenever Flex won his age class at Nationals, I did not expect that. I just thought it would be a great experience for BEK's Flex. God is good. Yes. You shouldn't go into a show. How do I say this? You should be confident in your dog. Try not to be overly confident. Don't say, okay, well, this dog is going to beat that dog or is going to do this. Keep in mind, when that dog enters the ring, you no longer have control over anything. It is now up to a judge, up to a handler, and up to that dog as to how that dog is going to be measured in the ring.
There's something that happens in the ring, it's platonic, right? And it's just like a tough guy. He thinks he's real tough, and then he gets around somebody that is really tough, and now all of a sudden he's shrinking, right?
Right.
Well, dogs are the same way. And he might be a bad dude amidst 3 or 4 dogs. And then you get him around 20 dogs, and now there's a few in there that makes him feel small or makes him feel less. And it shows in the way that the dog shows. You can see it in their behavior. And some dogs just have it, man.
Some dogs just,
you can see
they
it.
love it in there, you know, prancing their tails up and all that stuff, you know, and dogs, sometimes they have a bad day, and you got to recognize that, because a show life is you know, it's not just easy all the time on the dogs,
Right.
you know? Yeah. So, you know, you got to watch your dog too. And you want it to be a good thing. And, you know, but every little thing you do, you're setting him up for that experience, you know? So just keep
Miss
that in
Jamie,
mind when you're going.
I'm going to corner you here. I'm going to hit you with a hard question.
No,
right?
no. Okay.
I know you got a lot of experience, right? So I want you to share a little something with us. Just
Okay.
a little
All right.
something. No major secrets. But
Okay.
anything in particular that you do to get your dogs prepared for the ring? Anything in
Well,
particular?
first of all, yes. Let me tell you this. The easiest dog to show is a dog that's built right with a little bit of attitude, okay? Because when we had American Bulldogs, you get them built right, you know, they're alert. That male class, you're not moving a foot or anything because they're just so on fire. They're flexed. I thought I was a dog handler, you know? And then I found out I really wasn't. I really wasn't, and I'm the worst handler ever. But yes, I do a lot of prep for a show. And if you're going to show your dog, I'd say the first thing is, you know, that bond starts when they're really, really young. Like when you get your puppy, you start doing things to prepare for the show. So it's used to, you know, different things. Like a lot of people want to go to the little puppy kindergarten stuff and they teach it to sit when you stop. Okay. And then you want to show the dog.
Not to
And then
sit.
you got to, yeah. Now you gotta retrain his head. Like, no, I don't want you to sit when I stop. I want you to stand when I stop. So, you know, things like that you learn with the experience. I like to put weight on my dogs ahead of time for a show because when we get in the car, my dogs are on food strike till we get home. That's just the way it is. And they will lose weight. And since we're in Kansas, we got a long ways to, you know, to drive to get anywhere. So my dogs will be gaining up by the time we get there because they just don't like to eat on the road, you know? And so that's one thing I do is I, you know, weight them up and start early. It's more than 2 weeks ahead of time. And, you know, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. That's just a good thing to do. Practice all the stuff you're going to do at a show, but don't burn your dog out on it. You know, do it. You can do it every other day for just a little short period of time and then stop with it. You know, don't burn them out. Don't practice till they hate it. You know, and don't think, oh, one more time. And it, you know.
What's the max you should be training a dog in a day? I've heard anywhere between 10 minutes broken up into 2 5-minute sessions.
Well, that all depends on the dog and you and what you're doing. You know, that's going to be individual. But stop when it's good. Don't keep pushing the dog. You got the dog's whole life. Don't get in a hurry. That was something real hard for me to learn, you know, because I would get so excited, you know. If I just one more time, I'm going to do it one more time. And then that one more time would be not good.
Yeah, push them over. We have a question for you from the Bakari. He's saying, how does she see the future and direction of Shorty Bulls? How do you see?
That's a good one. That's a good one, Bacardi. I don't know. I can do a lot of things, but see the future I can't. That's one thing I can't do, you guys. So what I think may be what happens, it may not be what happens, but I can tell you this, the groundwork's done, hard work's done. We need people to do things with the dogs, you know. That's what we need to keep the future of anything going. It's kind of scary because I'm ready to retire. I did kind of retire. I just can't get my other foot out the door. And, you know, what was hard is my kids don't want to do this, like to the scale that I did, which, you know, I don't blame them. They grew up in it. They don't, I mean, they like dogs. They want to have a few dogs, but they don't want to do it to this capacity, which that's fine. It's kind of like, you know, teaching the baby how to walk and then just letting go of its hands and letting it go. It's kind of scary. I don't know what's going to happen. But the hard work's been done. It's ready to go mainstream. You know, we need some movers, shakers, and some people who are ready to make some noise with it, you know?
Well, I will let you know I am a big fan, and I most certainly want a Shorty Bull one day. And I love your dogs. So
Well, thanks, you guys. And thanks for having me on. And it's been a it's been a great journey, and it's going to be fun to, you know, I don't think that dogs will ever get out of my system, you know?
Yeah,
I don't think so.
I think you're lying. I was thinking inside of me, she may retire, but
it's so dang hard. I'm not kidding you. And this is a place I've never been. I don't have a lot of people to talk to because, you know, the ones that did retire long gone. They're on a beach somewhere, you know?
Yeah.
And it's just weird. I mean, I'm always going to have dogs, but I feel so strongly about dogs. You know, I like the back and forth. I like the pushback. I love that as much as I do the dogs, you know? I love proving stuff. I love competing. Yeah. You know, and I love to teach when people, you know, want to learn. That's awesome. But I love to see somebody start and progress and just be so happy about it. You know, that's a beautiful thing. I love to see a program progress because it is possible. It's easy to get lost, and, you know, it's easy to listen to the wrong people. Just figure you're going to do that a couple times, but you know, just keep at it, and you'll meet some people. Just when you think there's no more, you know, then you'll run into somebody, you know. And so, yeah, I got one foot out the door, and I can't do it, you guys. I'm just a sucker. I'm a sucker.
I'm gonna make a request, so it's gonna be a lot easier for you. My guy in the back, Hollywood, can't come on. His service is a bit choppy right now. So we usually sign off where we all say what we need to say, but after we sign off and say what we need to say, I'm gonna put a little bit of Blueberry Blues, and I want us all to dance as we head on out of here. All right. So I'm going to start it out with Michael Higginson. Michael, make it happen, bro.
Michael Higginson, man, QBN Kennel out of Arkansas, your co-host with the most. I really enjoyed this tonight in the presence of two of the greats. Jamie, it was a real honor to be here with you and get to hear some more of your story and get to see you face to face. It was my pleasure.
Miss Jamie Sweet.
Thanks, you guys, for having me on. Thanks to everybody who tuned in. It was a great honor to be here. Congratulations to you on Blueberry Blue. I always like to listen to Mike. Just keep bulldogging, you guys, because if it's in you, can't retire ever. Out.
I love it. I love it. Listen, guys, you already know we do this every Monday at 8 p. CST. I ain't got much to say except... Yeah. All right. Come on now.
I dance even though I can't hear it.
That's
so
it.
I love it.
Hey, nothing but love, guys. We
are going for a whole hour. Straight dog talk and the song. Jump on in and speculate. Show up on time, don't be weak and late. We are community, so don't hate.
You act like you own the place. In the QBN yard, you're far away.